Hey, shalom, shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Kakadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect. News in the gospel of God, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is titled, America Will Become a Holy Nightmare. Okay, due to the times we're entering into, that we're in, not entering into, but that we're currently in. Okay, which we're fastly approaching Jacob's trouble. A few brothers went into the new 2023 Wuhan situation, you know, with these predisposed simulations that they've been gathering. Climate lockdowns coming for 2024, as they allegedly said. Okay, more and more lockdowns, more travel restrictions, global economic collapse, okay, followed by the CBDC currency, which is all lining up according to biblical prophecy, man. You got certain guys out here that used to teach that, oh, we wasn't going to come into a time of trouble, that we were just going to go through the kingdom and not be touched or harmed. But the scriptures say through much tribulation must we enter into the kingdom of heaven. So the scary days are ahead for Babylon the Great. And not only that, the supernatural events, you know, like when you go back to Wisdom of Solomon, the 17th chapter, and Lord's will, I get that. You had what they called the 3 days of darkness. I mean, it was like a darkness that you can feel. You got the supernatural that's heavy at work too on the left-hand side because of the witchcraft, the sorceries, you know, the demons that these elites are conjuring up on the left-hand side to form out that new world order. You know, demons are plaguing people. More people are getting hunted by particular spirit apparitions. You know, they're summoning up the dead loved ones and etc. It's getting ready to get real spooky out here, man. Okay, and through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, the prophets, we've warned you, we've told you that America is going to become real scary. It's going to be like a nightmare, man. Okay, your worst horror movie won't be able to capture this on camera, because this is the time of the Lord's judgment. Okay, so I looked up, it says global recession, a tyrant with nuclear warheads, scary days ahead. This article is relatively new, October 4th, 2022. Then basically, man, they're going into like climate change, you know, the coming impending danger, okay, the foretelling of doom. Like, it was an article that I may still have pulled up. I have a couple things that's pulled up, but I remember this is a very good read, and I posted it in the description box a long time ago, and I may repost it in there. But this tells you here how America will collapse by 2025. That's only 2 short years away, you know. 2 short years away, and the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai is going to speed these things up, because it says 4 scenarios that can spell the end of the United States as we know it in the very near future. Okay, and it goes the breakdown and gives you the economic collapse, cyber war, okay, the fucking morality of the people. The people don't have any morals anymore. The women are all slutted out. You know, it's a gender war. And the list goes on. Crime. Okay, you had 50 robberies in 4 hours, I think, out there in Chicago, you know. So that shows you right there through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, that, hey, all hell is getting ready to break loose in this place, man. You know, so you people, you're getting ready to be judged on a whole different level. Okay, you're getting ready to get judged beyond measure, because the Lord is fed up with Babylon the Great, man. Like it says, by 2020, according to current plans, Pentagon, it says Pentagon would throw a military Hail Mary pass for a dying empire, which would launch a lethal pipe canopy of advanced aerospace robotics that represents Washington's last best hope of retaining global power despite its waning economic influence. It says by that year, however, China's global network of communication satellites, backed by the world's most powerful supercomputers, will also be fully operational, providing Beijing with the independent platform for weaponizing of space and powerful communication systems for missiles or cyber strikes into every quadrant of the globe. So that's war right there, man. Like the Lord said, that there's going to be wars, rumors of wars, wars and rumors of wars. But see that you be not troubled. All these are the beginning of sorrows. But the control for space, they've been fighting for the control of space since the 60s, man. Okay, when Russia put that first satellite up there, then America basically tried to shame them by faking the moon landing. Okay, back in 1969. When America faked that shit, they didn't never land on the moon. For one thing, you're not gonna land on a light. Okay, a hot light at that gives its own light. And the moon is very hot, contrary to what Esau tells you. Okay, and the scriptures go into the the moon being her own light had decreased in her perfection, man. Okay, it's a lesser light for the night. So the moon gives its own light according to the scriptures. All right, for you Gnostics out there. But it says, wrapped in an imperial hubris like Whitehall or Quiet or Dorsey before it, the White House was seen to imagine that the American decline would be gradual, which we are on a gradual decline. Okay, but it's accelerating. It says gentle and partial. But in his State of the Union address last January, President Obama offered the reassurance, I do not accept the second place for the United States of America. And a few days later, Vice President Joe Bembeezy ridiculed the very idea that we are destined to fulfill historian Paul Kennedy's prophecy that we're going to be a great nation that has failed because we lost control of our economy and overextended. Now, when you go into the history of the Roman Empire, hey, the economy was broken down in infrastructure. Okay, they had a lot of infighting. It was spread too thin, and the only thing that kept people somewhat situated was bread and circus. But then when that pretty much broke down, okay, civil war broke out, man. Okay, and then you had a division between the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Hemisphere of the Roman Empire. And I believe the eastern part of it fell, if I'm not mistaken, because I believe the Western Roman Empire dealt with the Byzantine Empire, which is known as the Holy Roman Empire, which Jake ruled. If I got that history correct, I got to go back and look up the history, man. Got a lot of notes on it, but it's been a while. But regardless, you know, you brothers can look up that information. But it says, similarly, the writing in the November issue of the establishment journal Foreign Affairs for neoliberal foreign policy guru Joseph Nye waved away the talk of China's economic and military rise, dismissing misleading metaphors of organic decline and denying that the deterioration in the U.S. global power is underway. So they're in denial, but it's clearly evident that this place is falling. And you got another pandemic that's getting ready to hit on the horizon, man. So, hey, through the spirit, man, this shit is getting ready to get real because, hey, not only that, you're going to have spirit apparitions that's going to plague this place. Okay, Babylon the Great is already a haunted land due to the Gadites and the Negroes the blood has been shed here. So how much when the Most High allows those familiar spirits to roam this place and to terrorize you people? Okay, going back into Wisdom of Solomon, the 17th chapter. Okay, so it says, for great are thy judgments and cannot be expressed. Therefore unnurtured souls have erred. But when unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, which is the Israelites, they being shut up in their houses, the prisoners of darkness, and feathers with the bonds of a long night, later exiled from the eternal province. But when they were supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions, man. Okay, so let's look something up real quick. Let's look up, man. I've never looked this up per se, but let's look up ghost sightings 2022. Ghost sightings. I don't know if they keep record of this shit, you know, but it's spirit is like, look it up. Okay, and then it's this thing I watch on YouTube called King Frostmere. You know, it's a lot of stories, whether we could decipher whether they're true or not, about apparitions hunting people. It was one apparition that was hunting this Iscarite family. It was sliding a baby high chair down the damn living room, and the little Iscarite boy was bugging out. It was crazy, man. You know, here are two of the Michigan towns, the most ghost sightings, most famous ghost photographs ever taken, April 15, 2022. You got 30 most haunted places in the world. You got some which is called Suicide Forest that's out there in China, I believe, or one of the forests of China, if I'm not mistaken. Basically, you go there and you literally lose your mind because the spirit is full of apparitions, man. It's like a ley line or a portal or something at that particular part of the world that extract these wicked spirits, man. You see, and basically they cause you to get in your mindset and you don't make it out alive, man. Okay, matter of fact, let's look that up. Suicide Forest. Okay, it's in Japan. I can't even pronounce that. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. This is what it looked like. Beautiful, right? She won't catch us dead. And I guarantee that's probably a heavy portal to the spirit world somewhere, man. Because it says also known as the Sea of Trees. Yukai is a forest on the northwestern flank of Mount Fuji on the islands of Honshu in Japan, thriving 30 square kilometers, which is 12 square miles, of the hardened lava laid down by the last majority eruption of Mount Fuji. It says the western edge of Egokahara, where there were several caves that filled the ice in the winter, is a popular destination for tourists and school trips. It says parts of Agashara are very dense, and the porous lava rock absorbs sound, contributing to a sense of solitude that some visitors attribute to the forest. It says the forests have a historical reputation as a home to ghosts of the dead in Japanese mythology, at least since the 1960s. It says Aokigahara has become associated with suicide, eventually becoming known in English by its nickname Suicide Forest, by gaining a reputation as one of the world's most used suicide sites. But because of this, signs at the head of some trails urge suicidal visitors to think of their families instead of contact the Suicide Prevention Association. But see, they try to write off the spiritual aspect of it, and they want to make it seem like it's a mental thing. But even when you're plagued by demons of suicide, those are spiritual demons plaguing your mind, man. And that's what those Egyptians went through, you see? And it says, for they were supposed to lie hidden as secret sins, and they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions. So one thing about you American people, you're very fearful. Okay, you're fearful of the unknown. Okay, you thrive your lives in fear, so everything scares the shit out you. So when the Lord actually opens up the fourth dimension and it merges with this third dimension of the world, that's when a lot of you people are going to commit suicide, because the scriptures say that man's heart's fell in them for fear. Okay, it says, for neither that might in a corner that held them keep them from fear, but noises as of waters falling down sounding about them, and sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenance. Now no power of the fire might give them light, neither could the bright flames of the stars endure to lighten a horrible night, but only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful. For being much terrified, they thought the things which they saw to be worse than what they saw not, man. So man, they were plagued by heavy apparitions, and this is coming back, man. This is why we're going into this, because this is the book of Matthew 13, and I'm gonna start at verses 17. It says here, woe to them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. My truck stopped. And them that give suck in those days, and pray that your flight be not in winter. Before in those days should be affliction, and such it was not from the beginning of creation which the Most High created, until this time shall be. And except the days that the Lord has shortened, those days no flesh should be saved, but for the elect's sake, whom he have chosen, he have shortened the days, man. And that's the point, man. That's the point we're making. Okay? So anyway, man, Salakia, brothers, I had to cut this lecture short. My truck stopped pumping. So with that, Lord's will you edify all praises and glory, honor that's due to you. How about you, how to shy? And with that, shalom and the Bible.